Kenya's post-independence era has seen dynamic social, economic and political developments and challenges facing our country. The Constitution of Kenya 2010 is a governance framework to facilitate the much-needed socio-cultural, economic and political growth.
The institutions that were earmarked to be established to support its implementation are in place. The realignments and reorganization of structures and processes has been undertaken. The learning curve towards new governance cultures, operational relationships, and functional alignments is tapering.
The Kenya Law Reform Commission, KLRC, is mandated to facilitate law reform conducive to social, economic, and political development.
The Kenya Law Reform Commission is a statutory body established under the Kenya Law Reform Commission Act of 2013. During the last 5 years since the promulgation of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the Law Reform Commission has been working with other agencies, especially the ministries, the various government departments and agencies, in coming up with the legislation required to implement the Constitution.
The Commission is required to coordinate with the Commission for Implementation of the Constitution and the Office of the Attorney General to prepare legislation required to give or to implement the Constitution.
In collaboration with stakeholders, the Commission has developed county model laws in line with the fourth schedule to the Constitution for adoption or customization or contextualization by county governments in line with their individual or unique circumstances. In fostering effective implementation of the COK 2010, the majority of legislation in the transitional 5-year period in Schedule 5 of the Constitution has been enacted as required.
The Kenya Law Reform Commission has been partnering with the judiciary in a number of legislative processes. Currently, we are working together in the development of legislation to regulate tribunals which now fall under the judiciary, as well as the electoral reforms.
We decided as a commission that it would be important to document the process of lawmaking, right from policy initiation to law reform, explaining each and every step of the way.
The guide gives steps to guarantee keen observance to ensure that the process of making legislation is flawless and that such law can stand the test of constitutionality.
Many people, and especially at the county level, who came in for the first time do not exactly understand the process of the legislative process. And therefore, it was very, very important that the Kenya Law Reform Commission comes up with a guide which takes them step by step as what is required when you are legislating.
Vile sheria imetungwa iko sawa na implementation bado ni sawa, lakini kuna ile hatujahusishwa ni public participation.
I love the idea that this particular document gives effect to public participation as per our Constitution. Wonderful. I also heard that there will be extensive dissemination of this guide, and that's how it should be. But it's one thing to disseminate a document, and another to read and apply it.
I produced quite a number of copies, some pocket-friendly size copies.
We were requested again by the government of Kenya to provide us assistance in the implementation of the Constitution, initially through the Commission for the Implementation of the Constitution, then later to the judiciary and the Kenya Law Reform Commission.
The guide can be summarized in terms of effective policy, public participation in legislation processes, inclusivity in stakeholder engagement, and development-conscious legislation. The Commission therefore hopes that in the application of the provisions of the guide, the country will realize effective legislation as a cornerstone of constitutionalism. The development of the guide was spearheaded by a multi-stakeholder steering committee, whose secretariat was a commission and comprised Kenya Law Reform Commission, the Judiciary, Office of the Attorney General and Department of Justice, Ministry of Devolution and Planning, Commission for Implementation of the Constitution, Commission on Administrative Justice, Transition Authority, Law Society of Kenya (LSK), Council of Governors, County Speakers Forum, County Attorneys Forum, and the County Assemblies Forum. This guide has been published with support from International Development Law Organization (IDLO), USAID, AHADI, Agile and Harmonized Assistance for Devolved Institutions, and the Ministry of Devolution and Planning.